In a distant land, bathed under the relentless sun and surrounded by endless dunes, there lived a poor young man named Aladdin. He wandered the bustling streets of Agrabah, scraping by with whatever he could scavenge. The city buzzed with life, but to Aladdin, it was a prison. No matter how hard he tried, his life remained steeped in misery, until the day he met a mysterious stranger cloaked in shadow. This stranger, his eyes gleaming with an unsettling light, spoke with a voice as brittle as dry leaves. "I have seen your struggles. I can offer you an opportunity to change your fortune," the man rasped. Aladdin, though suspicious, was drawn in by the lure of wealth. The stranger described a cave deep in the desert, where unimaginable treasures lay hidden. But all he wanted was a simple lamp. Aladdin could take everything else. Guided by greed and desperation, Aladdin journeyed to the cave. Inside, amidst piles of gold and sparkling jewels, he found the unremarkable lamp, covered in dust. The moment his fingers touched it, a chill ran through him, but he dismissed the feeling and took the lamp. The cave rumbled ominously as he fled back to Agrabah. In the safety of his home, Aladdin examined the lamp. Without thinking, he rubbed it to clean the dust, and smoke billowed out, filling the room. A dark figure materialized before him. The genie, tall, ancient, and with glowing red eyes. This was no ordinary genie, but a being whose very presence felt like a weight pressing down on Aladdin's chest. "I am the genie of the lamp. You have freed me, and in return, I shall grant you 3 wishes." Aladdin's heart raced with excitement, but the genie's smile, wide and unnatural, made his skin crawl. He pushed aside the fear and made his first wish. "I want wealth beyond my wildest dreams." The genie snapped his fingers. Gold rained down, filling the room. But when Aladdin touched it, the coins burned his skin and crumbled to ash. The genie's voice echoed in the room. "Not all that glitters is gold." Ignoring the warning signs, Aladdin made his second wish. "I wish to be the most powerful man in Agrabah." With another snap, he found himself in the palace, adorned in fine silks, a crown upon his head. He was the Sultan, but the city he ruled was different now, eerily quiet. People avoided his gaze, their faces gaunt, their eyes hollow. "They fear you," the genie whispered, appearing beside him. "You have power, but you are alone." Aladdin felt the weight of the crown, but pride still gnawed at him. He had one more wish. He had to be careful, smart, to outwit the genie's twisted game. But as he pondered his final wish, strange things began to happen. Shadows moved on their own. At night, he heard whispers, voices of the people he once knew, warped and distorted. They begged, pleaded, or cursed him. The city streets seemed darker, as though a creeping darkness had settled over Agrabah. He couldn't tell if it was real or a trick of the genie. One night, Aladdin awoke in a cold sweat. The whispers were louder, more insistent. As he wandered through the palace halls, the shadows seemed to shift, and suddenly he found himself not in Agrabah, but back in the cave where it all began. The lamp stood on its pedestal, untouched. Confused and panicked, Aladdin rubbed his eyes. Had everything been a dream? But the genie's voice came from behind him. "Not a dream, a glimpse of another path." In this alternate timeline, Aladdin had never made his wishes. Instead, he watched a version of himself remain in poverty, never finding the lamp. This version of him toiled in the streets, his soul worn down by hunger and despair. But even this life was not free from the genie's influence. Everywhere he went, Aladdin saw flashes of gold, hints of wealth just beyond reach. But it was always snatched away at the last moment. No matter what timeline, the genie's curse followed him. As Aladdin was trapped in this alternate reality, he encountered past victims of the lamp, people who had once owned it and fallen prey to the genie's dark power. These spectral figures were twisted, grotesque versions of themselves, their eyes hollow, their bodies deformed by greed. Each one told Aladdin their tragic story. They revealed that the genie wasn't simply a magical being bound to grant wishes. He was once a powerful sorcerer who had tried to master the darkest magics of the world, but his hunger for power cursed him, trapping him inside the lamp. Now, he lured the greedy, the desperate, and the foolish, feeding off their desires until they were hollow shells, consumed by their own wishes. "You can't escape him," one of the phantoms whispered. "The more you wish, the more you fall into his trap." Just as Aladdin thought he understood the true nature of the lamp's curse, a new figure entered the game. Jafar, a powerful sorcerer who had long coveted the genie's power. He had been watching Aladdin's rise, waiting for the right moment to strike. Jafar confronted Aladdin, and in a fierce battle of wits and magic, Jafar managed to steal the lamp. But the moment Jafar rubbed the lamp and summoned the genie, he sealed his fate. The genie's smile grew even darker as he granted Jafar's wishes. Jafar asked for dominion over Agrabah, but the genie twisted the wish. The city fell under Jafar's control, but it crumbled to ruins, its people turned to stone, its beauty reduced to dust. Jafar, once powerful and commanding, found himself trapped in a crumbling empire with nothing left to rule but ashes. Aladdin, now without the lamp, wandered through the ruins of Agrabah. Desperation clawed at him. He knew Jafar's fate would soon be his own, but in his despair, he was pulled into a nightmarish vision, a world inside the lamp. Here, he encountered the souls of all those who had ever made wishes. They were trapped in a shadowy realm, forever bound to the lamp's twisted magic. Each soul whispered to him, recounting their tragic tales. They were once like him, greedy, ambitious, and desperate. But now they were nothing more than hollow echoes. Aladdin tried to flee, but the world of the lamp was a maze of twisted desires. Everywhere he turned, he saw reflections of his past mistakes, his selfishness, his greed. Just when it seemed Aladdin was forever lost in the realm of the lamp, a final twist unfolded. A shadowy figure appeared, a person Aladdin had known all along, but never suspected. It was someone close to him, someone who had been pulling the strings from the beginning. Perhaps it was a trusted advisor, a lover, or even his own family. This figure revealed that they had orchestrated Aladdin's downfall, manipulating his rise and his fall. They had been waiting for the right moment to claim the lamp for themselves. In a final act of betrayal, the shadowy figure took the lamp and made their wish to control the genie. But the lamp's curse was unbreakable. The moment they made their wish, the genie's malevolent grin widened. The new master, too, was consumed by the same fate. The cycle continued. In the final moments, Aladdin discovered something even more horrifying. All along, he had believed he had used his last wish to free himself from the genie's curse. But in reality, the genie had been playing with him. He still had one wish left. Aladdin stood before the genie, realizing that he had never actually escaped the cycle. He had been trapped in an illusion, and now he had one last chance to wish for freedom. But the genie's laughter echoed in his ears. Could he trust the wish? Or would the genie twist it into something even more terrifying? Aladdin hesitated, his heart pounding. He knew whatever he wished for would lead to more destruction. And yet, the temptation to make one final wish was overwhelming. The lamp's dark power beckoned. Years passed, and the tale of Aladdin became nothing more than a whispered legend in the streets of Agrabah. But the lamp remained, hidden deep in the desert, waiting for the next poor soul to stumble upon it. And so the cycle began again, with new victims, new wishes, and the same dark fate. Thank you for joining us in the world of Twilight Fables. If you enjoyed this tale and want to hear more stories like this, please subscribe and hit the notification bell for more.